Happy Friday and welcome back. The North Carolina General Assembly took up a series of topics this week. Everything from the rap artist Petey Pablo, bathroom rules, and AI were all mentioned in bills. Also, we will be on hiatus next week as we prepare for our 2025 State of the Child Summit. So, as always, keep an eye on your inboxes for updates. Let's dive in. House Bill 87, cell phone free education. Similar to Senate Bill 55, this bill would prohibit or drastically reduce cell phone usage during instructional time for students in public schools. The bill passed the House on Wednesday, March 26th, and went on to pass its first reading in the Senate. It will now go before the Rules Committee. Then there was House Bill 328, ban Delta 8 and Delta 9 on school grounds. This bill would add hemp products to the banned items list on school grounds, specifically Delta 8, Delta 9, and CBD. House Bill 328 passed the Health Committee on Tuesday, March 25th, and will now be reviewed by the Education K-12 Committee. We also saw House Bill 507, the Children First Act, which would expand child care subsidy eligibility to families earning up to 85% of the state median income. It would also provide grants for child care facilities in underserved areas and establish a child care facilities investment fund to support facility improvements. It includes workforce development initiatives to streamline licensing and reduce financial barriers for early childhood educators. It would also introduce employer tax credits for child care benefits and strengthen child health and safety protections. The bill also creates a child care innovation task force to research and recommend improvements while requiring ongoing evaluation to assess the program's effectiveness. House Bill 507 passed its first reading on Wednesday, March 26th, and will await a hearing date in the Rules Committee. Senate Bill 177 adds psychiatric hospitals to Medicaid HASP. This bill would add psychiatric hospitals to the Healthcare Access and Stabilization Program, also known as HASP. The HASP played a critical part in North Carolina expanding Medicaid, as funds from the HASP cover a portion of the expense of additional Medicaid enrollees. Senate Bill 177 received a favorable report from the Health Committee and will now head to the Rules Committee. There is also Senate Bill 412, Child Care Subsidy Rate Increased and West Pilot. This bill proposes increasing subsidy rates to the 2023 market rate study, adding 10% to the adjusted rates for rural counties and adding an additional 10% for infants and toddlers. And when we say infants and toddlers, think birth to age 3. In addition, the bill establishes a 2-year pilot program for councils of government impacted by Hurricane Helene to build child care capacity. Senate Bill 412 passed its first reading and was assigned to the Appropriations Base Budget Committee on Tuesday, March 25th. There was also Senate Bill 628, Safe Schools Transparency Act, which would require schools to notify parents if there's a threat to the school, share the school's safety plans, and reinstate the task force for safer schools. Threats are defined within the bill as anything from bullying to bomb threats to school shootings. Senate Bill 628 passed its first reading and will go before the Appropriations Base Budget Committee. There is also Senate Bill 635, Healthy Families and Workplaces paid sick leave. This bill would require that all employers in the state of North Carolina provide paid sick leave for their employees. Senate Bill 635 passed its first reading Wednesday, March 26th, and will go before the Rules Committee. There is also Senate Bill 645, the Protect Our Schools Act, which would require the Department of Transportation to designate school walk zones, lower the speed limits in said zones, and requires severe penalties for any driver who injures a child while in the school walk zone. The bill passed its first reading on Wednesday, March 26th, and its next stop will be the Rules Committee. There was also Senate Bill 752, needle-free epinephrine for school children, which would allow schools to administer nasal spray epinephrine in addition to needle injectors. Senate Bill 752 passed its first reading on Wednesday, March 26th, and will go before the Rules Committee next. Y'all, please remember that this is just a small sample of the many bills we're reading and tracking. To see all of the bills we're following, be sure to access our live legislative tracker. And as always, thank you so much for all that you do for North Carolina's children and families. You know the drill. Say it with me. Make it a great one, y'all.